Gumpttion.
Gumpttion.
Time to lock in.
Gumpttion. Go tell a friend.
Bringing knowledge and wisdom.
With Todd and Tim.
Gumpttion podcast.
Now let's begin.
Gumpttion. Hey.
Welcome back, y'all. This is another episode of Gumpttion. We have another special guest in the building, my man Mario McLean. Mario is a native of Detroit, an alum of Cass Tech. What do they say? The illustrious Lewis Cass Technical High School. MSU alum as well, Northwood alum where he received his MBA. Mario is a motivational coach. He's a father. He's a husband. He is author of Every Day is an Interview. One of the most fashionable guys I've seen. This is the first time I've probably seen him without a suit or a dress-up shirt or something. He's also the creator of Mindfulness with Mario, the podcast. And he's an all-around good dude, man. Dude, I definitely look up to. So, here you go. Mario, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the intro, man. Gotta have you do the intro everywhere I go.
I got you. So, we talking about life transitions. And our first question, really, we started is, what have been some key transitions in your life?
Okay. So for me, key transitions started pretty early on. Like when I was 6 years old, I went into the foster care system. So that was like one of the major life transitions for myself. It really, opened up my eyes to the life that I was currently living versus the life that I wanted to live. So pretty much had to take matters into my own hands and just use that as an opportunity to want more out of my life. So I just really focused on schooling. Like for me, even despite like everything that was going on in my personal life, I looked at school as like my outlet. So I made sure that when I was in school, I got good grades, I made good connections. And then from getting out of the foster care system, like you mentioned, going to Cass, I was also surrounded by other people who were, motivated to continue schooling and do bigger and better things. So that motivated me as well. From there, then I transitioned and went to Michigan State, which was an amazing experience, one of the best experiences of my life. In high school, met my high school sweetheart, who I'm married to today. We've been together for 11 years and some, married for almost 3 years, got one kid and another kid on the way. So that's been pretty interesting there. And like you mentioned, going and get my MBA, going to work. When I graduated Michigan State, I went to work for Frito-Lay as a district manager. Did that for about 4.5 years. And then got my MBA at Northwood, wanted a new experience, and just accepted it. I got a new job now at Audi as the district manager. So it's been like you said, it's been pretty fast paced, man. I'm trying to balance being a husband, being a father, being a manager at work, author, having my own things on the side. Which now that I'm at the point where I'm at now, it's very tough trying to juggle those many hats. So for me, it's trying to prioritize of figuring out what makes the most sense based off of the timing, because everything is about timing. You know what I mean? Like you can have all of these things going on, but if it's not the right time, you gotta figure out priorities. So like for me, I had to stop doing a lot of things. Like I had my podcast going on. I had to put that to the back burner because I had a new job that was pretty demanding. And so it's pretty much work and family. Because that's at the end of the day, family's first. So that's pretty much like my overarching view of many transitions in my young life here.
No, thank you for sharing all of that. Man, you mentioned you said you was in the foster care system at some point, and then you said it opened your eyes. What do you mean by that?
So for me, like I said, I was pretty young, so it opened my eyes. Basically, I felt as if the people who I was going to school with, like they wasn't living the life that I was living, right? Like I sometimes found when I went to school, I had to act like pretty much act normal again. Like I wasn't living a normal life, but I somehow had to put that behind me and realize that, okay, we on the same playing field. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, you know, what's going on in my personal life, because we're all looked at as the same people. So it opened my eyes and making me see that I have a lot more that I have to do just to pretty much keep my head above water. But I mean, it really motivated and kept me motivated, because that's how I became the man I am, based off of that experience of not having the resources when I needed them, and just figuring out on my own. And I think a lot of it is just as you continue to persevere. I mean, persevere, and you know, you fight through obstacles and you don't run from them. I think it helps and it molds you to become a bigger and better person, because once you begin to accomplish things in the face of obstacles, you see that it's possible, right? Because a lot of times what happens is we tend to either run away from problems, or we don't attack them head on. And that's just pretty much, if you use an analogy, let's say if you're cutting the grass, right, you might have a weed that grows up in the grass, and you use a lawnmower and you roll it over. But if you don't get to that root, if you don't dig down and kill the weed, it's still going to be there, right? So a lot of it for me was just figuring out, like, you know, what can I do to address, like, to get to the root problem, and just keep being motivated, man. So that's what I mean by open up my eyes.
You on mute.
My bad. Same time. What 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 did you have anybody you're looking up to? Like, where did you get this mentality from? Where all of a sudden did you think, like, you know what, I can do this. These are possible. This is how I'm gonna structure my life. These are the things I'm gonna work for. Where'd that develop?
That's a good question, man. For me, I really didn't have too many role models growing up. I learned based off of looking at like my parents and saying this is what I don't want to do. So like for me, I learned by doing the exact opposite. I'm like, if I continue to do what has been done in the past, I'm gonna get the same result. So like I said, a lot of things that I did, I didn't necessarily know what was the right way to do it or go about it. But for me, it was just always making sure that I kept one foot in front of the other day by day. And in doing that, I have met people along the way who saw me, and who I've never been afraid to reach out to people or utilize resources when they were made available. But I think a lot of it was just me going out and going and getting it and not being like handed anything. And I think that goes a long way and wherever, like long term. So for me, like even going to Michigan State, like a lot of people like saw that, you know, I was motivated and they reached out to me, and I just utilized that to my own asset for the most part.
Okay.
As somebody who is so young but so accomplished, and has such the drive and ambition that you have, were there any people or any mentors, because you are a mentor to people, were there any key mentors in your life who kind of stuck out and who kind of grabbed you and was like, you know what, you got potential, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you along? And how did that shape you, and what did you take from them?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The biggest mentor that I have had was my freshman professor. Her name was Helen Dashney, and she pretty much noticed like early on, like I would always be like the first one in class. I was sitting in front of the classroom, turning my assignments super early, or whatever the case. And it was something for me that this was just me, just being who I am. But she noticed that. And I remember at the end of that semester, she had said, like, if you need anything, make sure that you don't hesitate to reach out to me. So that following semester, I reached back out to her. I said, hey, I would love to stay in contact with you. And then we set up like monthly meetings to check in. And she has been she's been a huge resource for my personal life. Has connected me to other people. Like she was how I got into Frito-Lay. Like she knew some connections, and I was able to, you know, build off of her. And so she really taught me a lot of things from like the business standpoint, and just being a mentor in general. Like, she was involved in Big Brother, Big Sister growing up. And so one of the promises that I made her that was once I graduated, I would do the same. So I got involved in Big Brother, Big Sister. And even like when I graduated Michigan State, like her and her husband, they had started a scholarship in my name at Michigan State, the Mario McLean Endowed Scholarship Fund. And that was something that like blew my mind, bro. Like, because going to college, I didn't have like the financial resources, or I didn't even know how I was gonna like get through college. I'm like, if I gotta max out loans, whatever it is, I knew that that was gonna create more opportunity. So I just, like I said, I just had to keep pushing. And like, she made it, and it pretty much is for people who come from, you know, like a background where they don't really have the finances to pay for college, but as long as they you know, demonstrate certain attributes, are involved in other activities outside of school, and they're pursuing a business degree, they would be able to, you know, receive that scholarship. And so I had the opportunity to meet the first person who received that award. His name was Will Murphy. And it was just like, man, like, I went from, you know, not even knowing how I was going to go to school, graduating from school, and then really being able to like leave my mark at Michigan State with the help of my mentor Helen. It was just amazing. We're still in contact through this to this day. I casually check in with her, check on her husband, and she's really been invested in my life, my personal life, and my career. And I think it's important, extremely important, to have mentors, because there may be times when you feel like giving up, but when someone is there to say, "Hey, you're doing a good job," it goes a long way, man. So.
Yeah, man. No, mentors are very, very, very important, man. But when they're not around, what do you tell yourself to stay motivated? How do you keep yourself moving in a positive direction?
For me, it's all about consistency and staying busy.
Consistency. Consistency. That's just a trigger word around here. That's all. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, even like at the job where I'm at now at Audi, that's one of our core values, man. It's consistency, simplicity, and responsibility. So for me, I have to have a busy plate. I have to have a lot going on because it keeps me busy. Like, and my wife would tell you, like, even for example, today I was off work. I still get up as if I'm working because I can't lay in the bed, because to me, I'm wasting time. And so I just have to have a lot of things going on where there's never a time when I'm not working. Like, I just have adopted a worker's mindset, man. Like, I just love to grind. And I think people who, when you get to that point where you enjoy the routine and not necessarily the result, it goes a long way. Where when that mentor does check back in, it's like let's say if I don't talk to one of my mentors for months, when they check back in, they know I'm gonna have another accomplishment because I'm putting the work in consistently. Like, I'm not, I just don't give myself room for errors or being lackadaisical or procrastinating. That's just not one of the characteristics that I've had or I will ever have, because like I mentioned, I turn in assignments super early. I give myself early deadlines because I know life is going to get in the way, but when life gets in the way, how do you still produce the result that's expected of you? Because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all about the results and the productivity. So for me, it's being consistent, man.
Consistency, yeah, that's one of our trigger words for sure.
Yeah.
You said something that resonated with me. You said enjoy the routine and not the result. So when did you learn to enjoy the routine and really, like, we have this, you know, it's become a common concept or common like term, just trust the process. When were you able to trust the process and be like, you know, the result is cool, but like the grind to get there is just as cool, if not better?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I think I would say at Michigan State. So I remember when I had a job interview and I didn't get it, man. And I knew I had all of the qualities for it or whatever the case. And you know, anybody like us, like, man, it's racism or whatever the case. But I look back at the drawing board. I was like, you know, was I mentally prepared? Was I ready? And so that's when I adopted the mindset of, every day is an interview, in which is why I titled my book that, is because I feel as if like when you have an interview, like that should be the best day of your life, right? You should be the best dressed, you should be the most prepared, you should have everything ready to go. And so for me, I began to just adopt that mindset, man. So people would see me on campus, like I'll be dressed up, I got a business shirt on, slacks, dress shoes, and I'm on the CATA bus going to class. And they're like, "Where you going, man?" And I'm like, I'm going to class, man. Every day is an interview. So I began like hashtagging that, like whenever I'm dressed up, hey, every day is an interview. And it just became a part of who I am and a part of who I was. And that's been something that for me has, I don't know, like the mindset of that, man, it just has evolved in every aspect of my life, man. Like that's, like you mentioned, why I'm always dressed up. Like I don't even feel comfortable wearing it, bro. Like I don't even know what wearing regular clothes feel like. But it's just something that I truly enjoy. And I think that, and I love when other people like, will hashtag it or adopt that same mindset, because for me, it's about how do I lead by example. And I think that's been a way where I can lead by example, is just by doing the work, man. Because a lot of people, they give advice in areas where they're not really well versed. But like for me, if I'm living it and I'm breathing it, it's organic and it's natural. It's a part of who I am. And I think that's what's important, and that's what really goes a long way, man.
No doubt.
Man, you got a lot of wisdom, man. I mean, it's a lot, and you can feel your energy, how you mean what you're saying. This ain't no game. You ain't playing no games with nobody.
No, sir.
And you can see it. So what do you believe the meaning and the purpose of life is?
It's another good question, man. The meaning of life, the purpose of life, I think, is to be better than who you were yesterday, man. It's to look back at yesterday's performance and say, I noticed that these were opportunities. How can I correct that and be a better me, be a better version of myself? I had subscribed to like this quote where basically you get a quote sent to you every day via email. And one of the quotes was basically like, life is, we're all on our personal island, and it's like a tunnel to the mainland. And I think a lot of times when we're off by ourselves, and I think what happens is we tend to compare our lives to other people, and that's not what life is about, right? Like they say that comparison is the thief of joy. So like I try not to compare my life to nobody's, right? Like I'm Mario McLean. I'm always going to be Mario. How can I be my better self? Like how can I? That's what every day is an interview, man. Like how can I be the best version of myself every day of my life? Whether you know me whether you know anything about me, or if you just met me the first day, you're going to get my true and authentic self. And so that's what I think life is about. It's about being you, not trying to be, I'm not trying to be Tim. I'm not trying to be TJ Duckett. I'm trying to be me, man. And I think by doing that, you can inspire other people to one day be their self. Like, this is who I truly am. And when you are your true self, people will feel it. Like you said, you feel that energy. Like, I'm not flawed and I'm not putting on a fake. Like, this is who I am. And right. I can only be me, man. So that's what I think life is about.
I like it.
Yeah. I guess going off of that in terms of only being you, and I like the quote. You keep on dropping these gems, but you said comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah. I've never heard that.
I haven't.
I've never heard that. I wrote that down.
You know what? Because at Michigan State, it's 50,000 people, and you get there, freshmen, depending on where you're at. Like for me, I was kind of impressionable, and it's like, okay, how can I find my niche? And in terms of just, you talk about every day is an interview, and really showing up ready, being your best self, walking in your purpose in a way. When did you find your opportunity, or when was there a space, maybe at Michigan State, where you felt like you were walking in your purpose, and did you ever have the problem of comparing yourself to other people at MSU or before, or did you feel like you had been walking in your purpose?
I would say when I first got there, just seeing so many people not of color was initially, it was like, man, I don't know if this is the right fit. I didn't really feel comfortable. But once I began to year after year say, hey man, we all on the same playing field. I'm like, I got what it takes to compete with these same people who did not have the unfortunate background that I had. But when I look at it, we're in the same classes. You know what I mean? We got the same resources available. So for me, that was motivating. I'm like, hey man, they giving me a chance. I don't even supposed to be here. You feel me? So once I got that chance, I'm like, it's good. But my defining moment was when I graduated and I was selected as our student commencement speaker. And so coming from a foster care background, only 3% of foster care youth graduate from college. So the way I looked at it, I was like, all right, 3% of people only make it, right? So I'm like, I need to go another step and actually be the center of attention when I graduate. So I put my best foot forward, man. It's like 40,000 plus people that go to Michigan State. So I knew right off the bat, not that many people are going to even apply for being a student commencement speaker, because when you in class, people scared to talk in front of 5-10 people. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, so I pretty much got something in my wheelhouse. So I applied for it and I was selected. And when I gave the commencement speech, man, it was the most amazing day of my life. It opened up a lot of speaking opportunities for me as well. And I just looked at it like, man, I went from, like I said, like my background and being able to make it to graduation, be selected the student speaker, something that I couldn't even have dreamed of. And it was really successful, man. Got a standing ovation. I was in the Lancet News, and I was getting a lot of articles written about me, and that was huge, man. Like I said, like that doesn't happen. I don't know anybody in my family who has, had been a commencement speaker or whatever the case. So once I started seeing like the results, it was like, man, I can do more. Like I'm a person of, once I accomplish something, how can I go bigger and better? And so like anybody in my family would tell you, like I had the most craziest, biggest dreams. They like, man, how do you even think of all this stuff? But I don't know, man. It's just a personal challenge where I just try to just be just continue doing more, man. That's what it's about. There's no point in being comfortable. I pretty much got accustomed to being not comfortable being uncomfortable. I think is the term I was trying to use. But yeah, no doubt.
Man.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah. Real good. And you talk about the craziest.
That's good.
The crazy until it's done. So we talk about Todd, and I talk about you either regressing or you growing every single day. And it always seems like you're putting your best foot forward. And just talking to you and me knowing who you are, man, you're an embodiment of success and a walking testimony of what you can do when you put your mind to it and you really believe in yourself and you trust yourself. So for me, just being able to talk to you and get this with you, because you did, the commencement speech, but you came back and did our graduation speech for Black Celebratory, and you was the keynote speech, so that's elevating. You keep on elevating, you keep on going. So I see it, and I know that you living out what you're talking about. You're not just talking it. You're not just talking the talk, but you walking it. So for me, it's just inspiring just to get this, just to have this opportunity to just sit and listen to you, man, and I'm excited. I'm charged up. I get charged up off these. I'm charged up because I can see it. It's genuine. It's real. It's authentic, and you really you, and you bring you to the table. And for me, that's all I could ever ask out of anybody who I interact with. So, Ty, you got something to add?
Yeah, nah, man. Same thing. Very, very inspirational, man. And you don't have to have no gimmicks. You are straight to the point. It's real. You can love it or you can love it even more. You choose which one you want to do. Because I mean, it's you can't help it. And then for you to be so open and honest and real and delivering you just, I mean, interviews every day. And I mean that just these little, you got like Tim said, you got these little gems, man, that I mean, where's your book at? What can I put on my mirror? Because I mean, some of these things, man, it's powerful, and I feel like I'm a very inspirational guy, and you got me fired up over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like I'm ready to go. Like, what's next? So, man, much love. Thank you. And you know, keep being you, man. Keep flooding the world, and getting it done, man. Very inspirational. Very inspirational.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna definitely be in touch, man. Like I said, I got to get y'all on my show as well, man. I remember playing Street Volume 2 with you, man.
Hey.
So
And then in terms of just following up, how can the people reach out to you? You talked about your book. First of all, I got one last question. So, what inspires you to write a book so young? Like, you know, what was the inspiration behind that?
Oh man, it was easy. Like I said, when I was young, bro, I was like, man, I gotta write a book about my life, because I feel like this is not normal, man. Like people need to hear what I went through, and I'm gonna overcome this just to tell people that you can overcome, you can be. It's more to life, man, than what you think it is. And so, like, I just wanted to really utilize myself as an example, whether it was going through all these fires and these obstacles, but being able to say, hey, listen, man, you don't have no excuse not to be great. Like, I wanted to pretty much anybody that had an objection or said they can't, I want to say, yes, you can, and here's why. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have this, but I built this, right? Like, I think people need to actually see. People need to see it, man. So for me, it was easy. I feel like everybody is writing a book every day they live, man. Like, even in the process of me writing the book, I was like, man, I feel like I have so many, I came up with so many more ideas. Like, I want to write a book about this, but that was like the initial reason. The second reason was because I was involved in, I do like speaking. It's all about, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about money too, right? So I'm like, all right, I can have a speaking event and then sell my book on the back end. So that was like my initial process. Yeah, man, it's been working out pretty good, and I don't really self promote a lot at all. Like, I don't promote like my podcast, the speaking, but I still get like people who reach out to me like word of mouth. So, and when I get to the point where I'm actually fully committed to the marketing and the self promotion piece, man, it's gonna be a game changer. But right now, like, we talking about the life transition, there's been so much going on where I need somebody else to do that, because I just don't have the time, man. I don't really have the time to do much right now.
Yeah, you talked about at the beginning. You talked about priorities and family being first. So I'm not mad at you, man. And yeah, we gonna put the book up there. We're gonna tell people to check it out, because we want to do that just for you, just off the love, just because stuff you've been able to do for myself personally. And getting Ty fired up, you know. So we appreciate you, man. It's love. Thank you for taking the time out to speak with us and share your story. We're so excited for other people to listen to it. And thanks so much, man. Keep being a role model, keep being great, and just keep living your life, because every day is an interview. So we appreciate you taking the time out, man, to speak with us.
All right, y'all. Have a good day, man. I'll holler at y'all.
Peace.
Yeah. Gumpttion.
Gumpttion.